Motivation is not a feeling. It is a calculation. An action only happens when the reason feels heavier than the cost. That is all it is. Every movement you make passes through that scale. Effort on one side, return on the other. If the return does not outweigh the effort, the body stays still. This applies to everything: work, discipline, avoidance, delay. Even small acts follow the same rule. Nothing is free. Nothing happens without payment. Motivation is built from two materials only: pain, pleasure. Moving towards one, moving away from the other. There are no extra levers, no hidden systems. If you understand this, you understand why people act. If you ignore it, you are ruled by it. Because motivation does not just move you, it can move anyone. When pain and pleasure are identified and arranged, behavior follows. This is not theory, it is practice. It is how persuasion works. It is how habits are formed. It is how people are led without force. The human system is simple in this way. What complicates it is time. The body does not value all moments equally. What is close feels large. What is distant feels small. Immediate pleasure crowds the frame. Future cost fades it into the background. This is not a flaw, it is a function. But left unmanaged, it becomes a weakness. Because the system always prefers relief now over pain later, even when the later pain is heavier. This is why delay collapses under pressure. This is why promises are broken quietly. This is why consequences arrive as a surprise even when they were predictable. The scale was tilted, not by reason, by proximity. Another pressure sits beneath this: the need to change state. The human body does not tolerate stillness for long. Not emotional stillness, not mental stillness. Calm, held too long, turns flat. Excitement, held too long, turns sharp. Stimulation burns itself out. Rest dulls itself down. The system always seeks contrast. After noise, it wants quiet. After quiet, it wants movement. This cycle never ends. It does not resolve. It only repeats. Most behavior exists to manage this swing. Entertainment, consumption, work, escape. They are not pursued for what they are. They are pursued for how they change the internal state. This is where the problem forms. The body has limits. Pleasure is not infinite. Relief is not renewable on demand. There is a daily and weekly budget. Spend it slowly and it carries. Burn through it and the account empties. When it empties, the cost appears: flatness, agitation, exhaustion. The system does not negotiate this debt. Borrowed relief is repaid later, with interest. This is why excess always turns bitter. Not immediately, eventually. Short-term gain creates long-term drag. The heavier the shortcut, the heavier the return. This pattern does not belong only to extremes. It appears in ordinary life: delay, avoidance, procrastination. The task waits. Comfort is taken now. The cost is pushed forward. Pressure builds quietly. Then, when the scale finally tips, effort arrives in a rush. not because discipline approved, because pain finally outweighed comfort. This is not control, it is reaction. Another confusion follows. People believe they can take without being seen. That cost can be avoided entirely. This belief does not hold. Systems record more than people realize. Bodies remember. Reputation accumulates. Patterns repeat. Very little disappears. Most things return. What is avoided is not erased, it is delayed. This brings us to dependency. Anything used repeatedly to change internal state becomes a tool. Any tool leaned on too often becomes a crutch. The object does not matter, the pattern does. Food, spending, stimulation, attention, they are not the cause, they are the method. The core issue is this: most people are never trained to regulate themselves. They learn to reach outward, not inward. Relief is taken, not generated. This makes restraint feel unnatural, like deprivation rather than control. But restraint is a skill. It responds to training. Delay practiced becomes delay tolerated. Reduction practiced becomes reduction normal. The system resets to what is repeated. Small limits recalibrate expectations. Large limits break it. This is not willpower, it is conditioning. Moderation works because the body adapts to what it is shown constantly, not what it is promised. Control is not achieved by chasing comfort less. It is achieved by depending on it less. When pleasure is no longer urgent, decisions clear. When pain is no longer avoided at all costs, posture steadies. Motivation then returns to its proper place, not as a master, as a tool. Pain and pleasure do not disappear. They are brought into order. They stop dragging behavior. They start informing it. That is the difference. Motivation either governs you or it is governed by you. The scale is always there. The question is not whether it exists, only whether it is balanced.